Alright, Game Leapers, what's going on? This is Coach Iggs, and the change list, bro, for patch 13.16 is out on the internet, mate. So what we're going to do in today's video, we're going to give you the champions getting buffed and nerfed, and also the items getting buffed and nerfed as well. I think this patch, there's going to be a lot changing. So to actually know what might happen in 13.16, make sure you stick around for the whole video. And guys, if you want to improve at the game, man, like every 2 weeks, I'm talking about patch notes and changes and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, like it's the player, right, that's going to dictate what rank they are. So if you play one of these champions who are getting buffed, you're probably still going to be the same elo, man. All right, you climb a division and you can brag to your friends about it. Means nothing though, right? Like when they get nerfed, you're going to go back down. So to actually really improve at this game, to master it, not only in terms of micro, so the champions you play, but also the macro of the game, make sure you check out the Game Leap website at gameleap.com. Our Challenger players and coaches are uploading daily videos to help you improve, because guess what? We were once there. We were once silver, gold, platinum, etc. And we managed to climb our way to Challenger and also coach people to Challenger across the world. So to know what the secret ingredient, so to know what the essential ingredients are for that Challenger recipe, all you have to do is just click on one of those links and get signed up. That's it. Easy. Now, while you're doing that, let's go through the champions getting buffed in 13.16, and in no particular order here. We're starting with Milio. This champion, after he got nerfed a couple of patches ago, somewhat into the ground, not really because he's still okay, but he is getting buffed. He has fallen off a fair bit, and because of the engaged meta, Milio, you're really not enjoying life too much in the bot lane. Unless the lane is very passive, because both supports are like enchanters, and you can scale for free and, you know, like just chill. But at the moment against Rel, against Nautilus, against Rakan, it's very difficult to actually make Milio work. So the buffs here, I'm not sure what they're going to be. I think I saw on Twitter or something like they're buffing your Q's base damage and the ratio in this. So not sure if that's still legit. Again, we'll have to wait and see until tomorrow when they actually release the changes. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what the actual changes are going to be. Next up, we have a champion who works pretty well with Milio, this being Lucian. Because of the shield, you can give Lucian, right? This empowers his passive. But yeah, Lucian is a champion getting buffed, and I think they have to be a little bit careful here because I think Lucian is kind of in a good spot at the moment. He works with both types of supports, Engage and obviously Enchanters, because his passive got changed a couple of patches ago, and I don't really think he's that bad of a champion right now. If you're going something like Kraken into Navori and then cooldown boots, he actually has really good win rates. With the engaged meta as well, Lucian not only works offensively, but also defensively, kind of like an Ezreal. Yes, he has much shorter range, but his E makes him really difficult to get onto and keep tied down, especially if you run like Cleanse on top of this. But Lucian is getting buffed. He's the second champion. Number 3 here, another bot laner, this being Lulu. Lulu has kind of just been like curb stomped in recent patches because of the nerfs, and buffing her, I can kind of see why, but to be honest, I still think she's Lulu, like at the end of the day. Like you're picking her specifically to cuck champions, right? Or to really pair with maybe like a Zeri or a Vayne or a Kog'Maw, something like this where you buff their actual movement speed and obviously shield them and peel them. So I still think Lulu is Lulu. Maybe she is just a tiny version of her former OP self. So Bust, I don't think they're going to break the game. I just really hope that Lulu won't become Giga Strong again. Now, another shielding support who's getting buffed here, this being Karma. Now, I think Karma is one of the worst supports, if not champions in the game. Lots of people think, oh my god, you just get like perma prior with this champion, and that is kind of true. It depends to an extent. But for the most part, yeah, it might be true, but there are so many bad matchups for you, bro. Like if you're playing against a Nautilus who can insta-hook you, a Blitzcrank maybe, one hook is GG. You have to play so precisely on her, and compared to those other peelers, Karma's shielding and the utility she brings is not on par with what a Lulu Polymorph does, or her Wild Growth, or maybe like a Milio Q, even Milio's ultimate, right? There are so many better champions to pick who can do Karma's job, but just better. Maybe as well, this will help out lane Karma. So if you're playing Karma in the top lane or in the mid lane, again, we'll have to wait and see until tomorrow's video. Now, a champion they are buffing here, guys, that could break the game in 13.16 and potentially at Worlds if they stay in the game. These are the buffs coming into Caitlyn. Well, I say buffs as if like I know there's going to be multiple buffs, but I don't know yet. But yeah, Caitlyn is getting buffed in 13.16. She just got buffed, remember? So the crit in her kit, but what are they going to do in 13.16? The buffs haven't been huge, which I think has been kind of a good thing because when Caitlyn does get Giga buffed, she becomes super OP and pick ban in pro play, and then in solo queue, that just like kind of has a ripple effect, right? And you can't play her if you're a Caitlyn one trick. So I think they have to be very careful here. Caitlyn mains, if you are out there, or AD carry mains, let me know what you want the changes to actually be to make her balanced. Now, moving into the jungle, we have a champion who got absolutely destroyed not so long ago. This was Wukong, right? And Wukong's win rate has kind of fallen off a lot, a bit like Vi. I'm also surprised Vi isn't getting buffed here, but Wukong is getting buffed just because he got gutted not so long ago. This will hopefully bring the Monkey King back into the meta a little bit, but not, like back to his pick ban and pro play like he has been for the entirety of Season 13. Now moving down to the bot lane here, where you can play this champion in the mid lane, of course, this being Brand. So if you're playing Brand bot lane, the engaged meta really isn't too bad for you because of your ultimate, and you want people to be close to you. Playing against stuff like Xerath or Lux or even Ashe support is really annoying, right? Because you never really hit them. It's quite difficult. But with engaged meta, Brand isn't actually doing too bad. And because your ultimate, remember, in an engaged meta is going to bounce to pretty much every enemy champion that jumps into you, I think he's in a pretty good spot. So these buffs, they will be interesting. Are they going to make him really OP? Of course, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll even be better for lane Brand, like mid lane Brand, not support Brand. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for these buffs. Now, another champion I'm kind of excited for buffs, but scared at the same time. This being Akali. So Akali mains, you guys should be rejoicing here because you're a champion who is probably still doing pretty well at the moment, especially again with the engaged meta, because any assassin appreciates that, right? Like diving in, you don't really want to be playing with enchanter supports on your team because they don't really do much for you. If you're playing with a Nautilus, like I said, if you're playing with Pikes and Rels, Rakans, Leonas, etc., you're going to be landing more E's, you're going to be landing more R2s, you're just going to be getting more kills because the game, hopefully anyway, will be more skirmishy and teamfights will be easier to, well, just kill people in them, right? So Akali getting buffed, we'll have to see what this is going to be. Her weakest phase is her early laning phase. So are they going to buff something here? Maybe like energy costs. It might be something to do with like your actual base damages. We'll have to see, right, of course. But yeah, kind of excited for these. Next up, we have a champion similar to Akali in the mid lane, this being Echo. So an AP assassin. But for the most part, Echo players are going to play him in the jungle. But I'd love to see some sort of like mid lane Echo buff. Yes, you can still play in mid lane, but because you can't like one-shot waves like you used to at a certain point with your Q, Echo has really fallen out of favor for other AP assassins in the mid lane, right? So I don't know if they're going to buff the lane version of Echo or the jungle, but Echo jungle is actually doing really well, and I don't know why he's actually getting buffed here. Maybe there's a skin coming out. In fact, I'd probably guarantee there is, because he's doing well, man. There are a bunch of other champions who would just appreciate buffs more than Echo, so kind of interesting to see him here. Maybe there's an Echo main on the balance team. Final champion here, guys, another AP assassin, if you will, getting buffed. Whether it's mid lane, whether it's jungle, probably mid lane here, right? Or just, yeah, top lane as well even. This being Sylas. They have to be careful here though, man, because Sylas is such a powerful pick. Not just in pro play, but generally speaking, right? Because you can't really lock in stuff like Alistar or Gnar without seeing a Sylas on the enemy team. Blind picking Malphite is very difficult. He does so well into so many things and cucks so many champions and also team compositions. So a bit like Akali, right? Sylas's weakest point in the game is his early laning phase, especially mid lane where you're getting poked out of it a lot. There's been so many nerfs as well to D-Shield, right? Also to Second Wind and Fleet Footwork, maybe for Akali more so than Sylas. So what these buffs are going to be, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm super excited to know what they're going to be tomorrow because they could really change the meta up. Now, moving into champion nerfs, there are 5 champions here, guys, on the nerf list for 13-16. These 5 champions are as follows. Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is copying more nerfs. The nerfs recently did absolutely nothing for it because you just go Bruiser and you're still as OP as ever. Stridebreaker as well. This, by the way, this item, Stridebreaker, is not getting nerfed, so you're still getting 60 attack damage from it. So they're actually just nerfing Rek'Sai straight up. Also here, by the way, guys, I'm just telling you that Kindred is not getting nerfed. So Trinity Force Kindred not getting nerfed. Even Trinity Force not getting nerfed. So everything's still using Trinity Force, Kindred, Ashe, Draven, you're all still extremely broken. So Rek'Sai is the first champ getting nerfed. Next up, we have Shaco support. Shaco support, a bit like Brand, right, is really good because he loves engage. You jump into Shaco boxes, you're going to get feared, and you're going to cop so much damage. Shaco support is really bad against enchanters because you can't do anything to them. They just escape, use their utility. You can never really do anything to their AD carry, right? Because of that utility, you want people engaging into your team, and all you have to do is just press W and your R, clone blows up, and you're going to 1v5 team fights as Shaco support. So Shaco support getting nerfed here. Neferi, next up on the nerf list. Neferi is like an S+ tier champion in every single elo, and she's really broken maybe too because of Dustblade and just full out lethality. Neferi, also being the new champion, right, have to make her OP, so they get that bank in. So Neferi getting nerfed in 13-16, I think this is kind of justified. She's seen a lot, she's banned in over 50% of games, and that's in like every single elo as well, so these seem legit. Next up, we have Shyvana. Bro, this is so funny, man, because Shyvana in higher elo still really isn't that good of a champion, but in lower elo, she has like 54% win rates, and that's after getting nerfed in 13-15. So I'd just like to send out my condolences, I guess, to Shyvana mains. You had like 1 or 2 good patches in lower elos where you were really OP, and now you're getting nerfed again. So kind of unfortunate, to be honest, but the stats really don't lie. Like in yesterday's video where we talked about the top 10 low elo champions, Shyvana was very close to being one of them. She had extremely good win rates across the board. She's banned an awful lot as well in lower elos, so maybe getting nerfed is a bit of a blessing in disguise here, but it's still kind of funny how they've just like nerfed her 2 patches in a row. Anyway, Shiv is on the list. Now, last champion guys getting nerfed here. This is Tristana. Now, Tristana being picked in the mid lane in pro play, and also just in solo queue as well. It's just a massive nuisance of a champion here. So what I'm guessing here is they're going to nerf like her base magic resistance, because in the mid lane, most of the time you're going against mages, and Tristana does very well against mages. So that's what I think they're going to do here, is nerf her base magic resistance. And that means in the bot lane, where your armor should stay the same, that's where you really belong. Next minute, they pick like Karth as AD carry bot. But hopefully you guys get what I'm saying here. So that's what I'm anticipating the nerf to be, or nerfs. There might be more of them, of course. But yeah, Tristana is here as well, being picked in the mid lane. Bot lane, don't think it's really a big issue, because there are lots of other good AD carries that even do well into Trist, right? But yeah, mid lane is just a big nuisance. So I'm guessing that's what they're going to nerf here, mid lane Trist. Now, system buffs, guys. There are 4 items getting buffed. All of these are lethality items, so watch out to all you AD carries and you squishy support players. Axiom Arc is getting buffed again, Serpent's Fang is getting buffed, Prowler's Claw another buff, and Umbral Glaive is getting buffed, because that got nerfed recently, right, in terms of like the actual de-warding cooldown in that. So if you're playing Pyke, if you're playing maybe Graves Jungle who can rush Umbral Glaive, any of those champions, and of course any lethality champion in the game, Rengar, Kha'Zix, Talon, you know, Shaco even, every single one of them is going to be frothing about what these changes are going to be. But unfortunately for all of those champions who I mentioned who can go Duskblade is getting nerfed in 13-16. Unfortunately though, I would love to see Trinity Force here as well, maybe even Stridebreaker losing 5 AD. But yeah, Duskblade is here, man. That is the only system nerf here, the only item rune getting nerfed in 13-16. I wonder if they're going to semi-revert what they actually buffed recently to the HP damage threshold, and of course the damage you're dealing to low HP enemies. So is that going to be the change, or are they going to change something else? We'll have to wait and see until tomorrow. Those are the listed changes that we know of thus far. Any thoughts, any comments if you think someone else should have got buffed or maybe nerfed, or something in the game, an item, a rune, let us know in the comment section, man. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And until tomorrow's video, where we will disclose what these changes really are, thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you then. This has been Coach Iggs. Peace.